Yo, pull up a chair, let the real talk begin. Faith on the table where the brothers lock in. Life gets heavy, but we stand our ground. Truth in the room when the circle comes round. No mask, no front, just real man here. Talking about faith through the doubt and the fear. From the grind of the week to the lessons we share. Welcome to the men's round table, pull up a chair. Men's round table series, step inside. Real men, real faith, where the truths collide. Voices at the table where the stories get shared. Welcome to the men's round table, pull up a chair.
Welcome back to the Men's Roundtable Series Spotlight. I'm your host, Mr. U. If you're watching for the very first time, thanks for making us part of your week. We're live on YouTube and Facebook, and of course, you can find all of our shows across all podcast listening and social media platforms. So thanks again for tuning into the show. We're excited about it. If you hear some familiar themes in the title, and of course throughout the course of the show, it's because this is our sister show to our Men's Roundtable Series podcast that we do every Thursday night, 7 p.m. EST. If you're a husband, father, brother, or son who wants to get involved in this kind of community, we're building it since last summer, and it's been fantastic. Love to have you in the chat on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. EST if you're available. But today we have actor, stunt coordinator, and author of the memoir Love at First Fall, Aaron Crippen's with us. Aaron, good to see you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Good. I'm glad you're doing good. We talked offline about where you are in the country with all the storms and everything. So I'm glad you're doing good, man. Hopefully we can get through this today.
Yeah, it'll work. It'll work.
I love it. I love it. One of the things I'm fascinated by, because there's a lot of work you've done in Hollywood, and I've watched these shows and I've watched the movies, and I'm like, I don't remember him. What that tells me is that you're doing so much incredible work, and it's so amazing how nobody really notices it. They kind of just go on with the flow and the plot of the movie or the TV show, and they don't think about the incredibly dangerous work you're doing, the vital work you're doing to make that show go or make that movie go. You spent your life kind of training for the fall, if you will, in combat zones, motocross, Hollywood film sets, etc. What I want to ask you about is, how do you think those moments of being in the background, so to speak, and not being front-facing have helped you to grow as a person?
That's a great question. So, I mean, I guess looking back on it, I mean, life is a big stunt, if you will. You know, we're stunts in life are the same. We all take the hits, we all take the impacts, and the only difference is in stunts you kind of prepare for the fall, but in life nobody ever really prepares for that fall. So, if you will, like stunts is like controlled chaos, and then life is unexpected chaos. So I think out of anything that it taught me is with stunts, like we have a whole team of people that check on everything, all the inspections and safety rigs. And so we have this whole team that we rely on to help us, you know, through start to finish, to help get back up again. We got coordinators that run the show, that look after everything. And in a lot of ways, life is the same way. So, and just like what you're setting up, you know, with your podcast, you have all this community of people that help each other. They help, you know, kind of help everyone get up off the ground and dust each other off, and let's get back to it. You know, that's what it's all about. That's what I learned.
Yeah, I love it, man. I wasn't prepared to ask this question, but it's popping up. So this is what I do on my show. Sometimes I go off into a little tangent. But because of the work that you're doing, I got to ask you, I mean, your wife's not here to talk us through this. What's her confidence level with the kind of work that you're doing? Because, I mean, to me, the idea of just jumping out of a plane, it sounds absolutely ridiculous to me. I don't care if you got a parachute or not. It doesn't make any sense up here. But the work that you're doing, and you're getting paid well for it, I would imagine. What's her confidence level, even your family's confidence level, with you doing the work that you do? I mean, is it like 10 where they are totally assured of all of the safeties in place, or more like a closer to 1, like every day I'm wondering this man's going to be all right?
Well, The confidence level is extremely high. Mainly, I mean, she's also a stunt performer as well, and
Okay.
she has a Circus Soleil background, and she's incredible.
Oh, wow.
Some of
Okay.
the stuff that she's done has been absolutely insane. But she also knows the people behind it. She knows the tight knit community that we have, and how serious we all take it to really watch out for each other. Like, there's always those chances injury, for sure, and those injuries can have a really big setback in your life. But the chances of the higher stuff are pretty limited, and we do everything we can to put all the safety measures in place. So I would say 9.5.
Ooh, all right. That's really high. I'm impressed. All right. One part of your story, unless I missed something, one part of your story is very similar to mine. You became a father while still trying to figure out what that looked like. In my situation, I didn't have a father to give me a blueprint or a model. So I had to figure it out and piece it together, literally with duct tape and bubble gum, trying to figure out how to be a father to 3 beautiful little princesses. What's something that your children taught you about being a man that you didn't know about prior, or that nobody else can teach you?
Well, and I think this kind of came about once I had the kids. Is I'm like yourself, growing up, with a family, but nobody ever says anything. Nobody ever talks about the hard times, or nobody talks about their failures. Everybody just, mouth shut, don't say anything, like pretending like nobody ever feels nothing. They're just like, "You okay?" "I'm good. I'm good." "Don't say it. We don't have feelings. We push those down," right? That's how that goes.
Yeah.
So I think for me, my goal is I wanted to teach my kids that sometimes those hard moments that you have in your life are the most important moments that you'll ever have, because they define who you are, they challenge you mentally, spiritually, and they really help you overcome those hurdles. So, but how do you train or teach somebody or coach somebody that, hey, these moments, they're not fun when you're in them, but if you can just remember, hey man, once I get through this other side, this is going to be pretty amazing. I'm going to be proud of how I handled it. I didn't have any idea how to teach it, but I know I had a lot of hard moments in my life, and that's really what the memoir was about. It was for my kids, of instead of pretending like all those moments never happened and never talked about them, which is exactly what I was doing. I was doing the exact same thing. I kind of just brought them all to the forefront and said, here's the mess, and here's what I learned from the mess. And the funny, it actually worked. My older son, he had a sports tryout, and he came home, and I was like, "Hey, how was the tryouts?" And he goes, "Well," and he kind of babbled on a little bit. He was like, "I think I could have did better, but I was kind of," and then he started babbling with his words, and he was like, "Well, like your book, I was gripped with fear, so I hesitated," and I was like, "I'm done."
You did it.
I was like, done and dusted. Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. Good stuff, man. I love that. I love that. We talk about it on all of our men's content, especially our roundtable. We get into stuff that I can't believe we've gotten this far and it's still going, because historically men don't talk about this kind of stuff ever. That's why this is so unique to me. But men know how to fight through the pain, but they don't really know how to heal from it.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say for you, Aaron, was a turning point in moving from, I guess, survival mode, if you will, into building something or rebuilding something of value?
I think I still have a lot to learn with it, to be honest with you, and that's why I appreciate guys like yourself who really help people with that. And there's a lot of value to it. But for me, I think a lot of these stories that I wrote about, I didn't even want to think about, let alone write about them, and they took me years. It was never meant to be a book in the beginning. In the beginning, it was me figuring out, how am I homeless and don't have a place to live and sleeping in my truck? How did this happen? How did my life become this? And so it took a lot of years of figuring it out. And so, and actually the week after I released it, I had a panic moment and I felt all vulnerable, and I was like, oh, maybe I should just take it down and never talk about the book again. Pretend like it never happened. No one's going to read it anyway. And, but I didn't, I think I'm still learning. It's hard to be vulnerable. But I think when you are, what I noticed is it opened up a lot more powerful conversations, and I've connected with people in my life who've been in my life for a long time, including my father,
Oh, wow, that's good.
in a way that I've never connected with him like that before, because of those stories and because of putting it out there. So I'm still learning, man. I'm still trying to figure that part out. The vulnerability is tough. It's hard.
No, I know it, man. That's kind of where community comes in. That's always my go-to answer. I'm like, that's where the men run from the most, generally speaking, of course. But that's where the answers are. That's where the gold is. That's where the treasure is. That's where the peace is. It's in the community, man. And you can't fake that.
Yeah.
I think I would imagine that, hopefully I'm not asking this too clunky, but in your world, you're dealing with a lot of preparation and controls. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Making sure everybody stays safe. Number one goal, I would imagine. That mindset probably, bled into your personal life, I would guess. When did that mindset begin to kind of fail you because it was in your life, there was things going on you couldn't choreograph, things you couldn't control? What was the biggest challenge in dealing with that mindset? Hopefully that makes sense.
It does. I think I'm tracking with you. I mean, it's kind of like a two-part thing, because like in our business, we have to try to put so many things in place and safety measures, and we have to check all those boxes. But at the same time, our life is filled with so much uncertainty that, in my opinion, that's the real reason why most people don't stay in this business, or they don't, seek out. It's very difficult business to get into, because, you might have work for 6 months and then you might not have anything for several months. And the ups and downs of the business, no matter how far along you are constant. So most people don't like that amount of uncertainty in their life, and they eventually kind of say, forget it. And then they move on to something else. So in some ways, the business has taught me how to be very determined and to check all those boxes, but at the same time, it's taught me how to deal a lot with uncertainty. As you know, when you have kids, there is just so much uncertainty that it's
yes, sir.
amazing. I mean, from the very beginning, both of my kids were born premature. One was 3 pounds. We didn't think he was going to make it. And then the other one was 4 pounds. They both came like something out of a movie, it just happened so fast, so it's been a wild go.
Wow. There's a quote, I think this is attributed to you. I don't want to misquote you, so forgive me if that's what's happening. But I think you said that survival wasn't your wildest stunt of your life. It was love. Why do you think that men find the idea of transparency and emotional intimacy more frightening than the actual physical dangers in life?
Well, I would think a lot of it is just you have a lot less control over that, which I think is pretty normal. We like to be very certain on certain things, and everybody has that desire for certainty in their life, for sure. We all do. But when it comes to love and relationships, as you know, that changes pretty drastically once you have kids too. But there's a moment where you kind of make that decision of, hey, you know what? I don't know if this relationship is going to make it, but I'm going all in anyway, and I'm going to give it everything I got, and I hope it works. And I think, that kind of throwing in the towel and saying, I hope, I'm going all in, and, pushing the chips in, however you want to look at it. I think that's the moment that it's an extremely difficult moment, especially like most of us, we've all been crushed before with relationships or have had some bad things happen, and all those kind of stack up against you. And so it takes a long time to kind of get over those. And I think that's the real reason, is we never took the time to really kind of heal or fully understand some of the other moments. We just push that down, we move on, but eventually those ghosts from the past kind of stack up on us,
Yeah, I love it, man. One of the things I love about your story most, Aaron, is there's a couple of things, but it feels like you kind of reframed your losses and you've reinvented yourself in some ways, and you've chosen to not take the low-hanging fruit of wearing your armor all the time like so many men do, but choosing vulnerability instead. I love that. You know, when looking back on all the things that you've experienced that I guess we can call them falls, for lack of a better word, whether it be relationship wise, whether it be in your industry and career, personal development as a husband and a father, you dealt with a lot of falls. Which is the fall that you would say ultimately saved your life?
Yeah, the ultimately falling in love with it, that was probably the biggest fall for sure. And then
Oh, checks in the mail, man. She already loves you, man. You ain't got to do this.
but I think the biggest fall is one that I'm still trying to sort through, and that's the falling into vulnerability. You know,
Ooh,
I
okay.
think that's still one that I'm trying to learn and figure out. You know, I mean, life is a big stunt, a big fall. I mean, isn't it funny how we always use the I'm falling asleep, I'm falling behind, I'm falling ahead. You're always falling at some point is what it seems like. So it's such
Yeah,
a
it seems
great
like.
metaphor. You know, it's like you spend all these years trying to get strong enough to carry this armor, and then the whole real test at the end is being strong enough to learn how to take it off. I mean, that's the gift right there. And
Oh my goodness, you were on our show 2 weeks ago, because that's exactly what we're talking about, the anatomy of the armor. That's what we were talking about. Exactly what you said out of your mouth is exactly the same words we use, the same phrase and everything. Ooh, gives me chills. Okay, sorry about that. You got me there for a second. I want to try to get in two more questions if I can, Aaron. All right, so with armor being in mind, if you can speak to the men who are still living behind theirs, what would you tell them about that's going to cost them that they can't see it yet? The cost of living behind their armor.
I mean, what a wonderful question that I wish I had a better answer for. But I think the hard part is you don't really realize you're hiding behind it. You don't really know. I think you kind of spend this. You're trying to go through life, and you're trying to build up your opportunities, whatever you're chasing, your career and your life and that whole thing. You're constantly trying to add to build up yourself. But the real thing is if you can learn how to build up other people at the same time, I think you're going to have such a better quality of life, instead of just always trying to hide behind everything by yourself. I'm not sure if that's very clear to the question, but just what does it cost you hiding behind it? It's eventually it's going to cost you everything, because you're going to learn that everything you're hiding behind is going to fall, and eventually you're going to have to lean on somebody. So you better have somebody there, or have your community there.
Yeah, I love that. No, it's a great question. I'm going to add another question in here. I find this so fascinating. I feel like I have to. We mentioned several times about the importance of community, and your last answer kind of references that. And I think men deep down, they know they need to have that. I think some men feel like what they have is community enough, and it usually isn't in a lot of ways. It's usually a crutch for the person in some way, and there's no iron sharpening iron taking place. There's no friction, no push to elevate the other person. So it's usually not that. For you personally, because of what I'm hearing, I feel like there's some answers that can be easily found to help out with some of the things you're talking about. But what does community mean to you personally, and how would you rate your investment into community so far on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, community for us is extremely important. I mean, our whole business and all the whole stunt community. We call it a stunt community, and we also call it a stunt family. And it's just a whole group of us. We all work together, but when we're not working together, we train together, we hang out together. A lot of us play sports together. I mean, it's that community is very strong. And like any community, you're going to have your little indifferences here and there, and that's perfectly normal. But we're all have the same goals in mind. And I think if you can look at who you spend the most time with and when you know that and you look at who they are, I mean, that can tell you a lot about where you're going as well, because, we all have huge mentors in our life. And, when you pay attention to those mentors, I mean, everybody's a mentor to somebody, and you have like the ability to influence people a lot more than you think. Even people who don't agree with that, they have a pretty big influence on people. And I think it's important to really pay attention to that, so that you can have the right influence that you want. You can be that positive person in somebody's life. There's, when you're getting up off the ground, there's people that are going to help you up, and there's people that are going to push you back down. So choose who you want to be.
Yeah, I love that, man. All right. Final thing I'll ask from you, and then we'll go ahead and close our show out, man. First off, thanks for being here and being a part of this conversation and bringing so much to the table, man. Thank you for sharing your story so transparently, and your feelings and your concerns and challenges that you have as a husband and as a father, man. So I appreciate this. If you can, let folks know where they can find your memoir, and also share what you want the big takeaway to be from the work you're doing with that. Go ahead.
You can find the memoir Love at First Fall. You can go to loveatfirstfall.net. It's on Amazon. It's also audiobook on any of the audio platforms, Spotify, Apple, Audible. The big takeaway is, I mean, we're all going to fall in life, and instead of pretending like it doesn't happen, I'm trying to find the takeaways for all the times that I failed, and I want to put it out there. And I did it for my kids, because I want them to know that when you fail big, fail loud, fail like you mean it, and just pay attention to your life. Always go for it.
Thank you, sir. I love it, man. Stunt coordinator, actor, and author of the memoir Love at First Fall. I think he's a Renaissance man too, but we didn't talk about that, but I think he's that too. Aaron Crippen. Thanks again for being here, making us a part of your day and being a part of ours, man. Thank you so much, brother.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Pleasure's mine, sir. For you guys that are watching and listening, thanks for making us part of your week. You can find all of our shows across all social media platforms. If you were subscribed to our YouTube channel and follow us on the Facebook page, that'd be fantastic. We'd love that. It'd be able to help us put out more quality content like this interview with Aaron. That's Aaron Crippen. I'm Mr. U. Thanks again for listening to the Men's Roundtable Series Spotlight. Have a great day.
Men's Roundtable Series, step inside. Real men, real faith, where the truths collide. Voices at the table where the stories get shared. Welcome to the Men's Roundtable, pull up a chair.